Hello viewers, I'm SP and welcome back to Call of the Sea, where sometimes I'm a fish. And I assume that that power is going to be relevant again. Out of curiosity, can we go back? Can we re-fishify? No, of course not, that's ridiculous. Obviously, these are defishification circles. Okay, well, now we are in a place where no member of the expedition
hard for me to understand how these gates work. What happens every time I cross one of them?
Trode. How do you conjugate? Okay, never mind. None of the members of the expedition have been here. Harry definitely couldn't have got here because of his hand not being fishable. So actually I do... Where's Harry, you reckon? Maybe he got, like... Maybe he got. Maybe there are still things on this island and one of them grabbed him? I don't know. Hopefully we will find an answer. I expect Nora will be quite upset if we don't. Alright. Guess it's time to use the gate. Now see, this is a re-fishify gate. That's what those look like. Obviously. I don't know why I was being so silly earlier. Boy, it's really quite biodiverse down here, huh? What are you?
Another panel of this strange technology. What's it for? Something related to the currents?
Well, I'm assuming that yes, something related to the currents. Hold on. I want to leave it in its initial state and we'll come back. Oh, hold on. There's more buttons than I thought. Huh. Okay, let me back up here because I want to see what it is that we're trying to overcome. Right now there's a problem, and this thing is the solution to that problem, right? This is weird. The waterfall looks real strange from below. Okay, I guess the problem is right here, and it's that the water is pushing outward. Okay. Although, boy, they don't make that effect terribly obvious. Also, you can just push through it, so... I have very minimal camera control and no movement control right now.
The island is pierced by underground currents.
Yeah, so it's just like a little speed gate sort of thing. So I'm sure we'll get up here and find a place where we are stuck, and then we will know what that little mechanism is actually for. Ah, here we go. Or maybe not, honestly.
Architecture again. Where is this gate going to lead me now? What a quiet and peculiar place.
Okay, that's just a bunch of black ooze sitting there doing God knows what.
Who made these marks? They look quite old.
How do you know that? How could you tell a thing like that?
We slaves, masters have got to.
Heaven, slaves and masters and... Nicole. Wasn't Nicole in the notes?
I mean, it sure was. Alright, let's see. What does this do? Okay, it's a great question, actually. I have no idea what that did. Presumably this is a multi-piece puzzle. So I guess let's go find the other pieces. Trying to remember to look up and down a lot more now.
Who made these marks? They look quite
old.
old.
Okay. I thought that it seemed like the eye thing was like placed kind of weirdly off center in here, but that's because it's actually attached to the stuff on the outside wall. Well, they probably shouldn't let you trigger that from inside, then.
Although they are the same style, these huts are much simpler than the magnificent architecture I've seen up to now.
Do any of these have any additional inspection stuff? Looks like no. It is a little bit of a shame that the inspection cursor doesn't appear, or the inspection symbol doesn't appear until you get really close to something, because it means I have to, like, press my face up against everything. Okay, so something happened here.
Whoever the inhabitants were, they were living here against their will.
They had strong feelings about these murals. I mean, not like that strong. Basically, they just, like, spray painted over them, but...
Someone vandalized this mural. Some hands look human, but others are amphibian hands.
Let's go back and check this hut over here before we go heading down off of the this little plateau. Actually, there's a couple of them. Okay, that definitely made another noise somewhere else. Did it affect this one? It did not. Okay. Interesting. So on this side we have handprints, like full handprints. I wonder why the difference. Maybe it's like some people who are human and some people who have been transformed by the ooze living in a village together, and for some reason they mark which kind of person on the outside of the house.
Paintings.
Seems like a kind of a strange thing to do, but you know. Also, turning into a crazy amphibian is a strange thing to do, so who am I to judge?
Some sort of handmade tribal painting. Looks really primitive.
Okay, apparently Nora feels that it's perfectly fine for us to judge. She is at maximum judgment right now.
I wonder who used to live here. It seems it was abandoned ages ago.
We father, we mother.
I understood that.
Well, yeah. That one was in English. I'm sure it's supposed to be, you know, some kind of thing that she's understanding with her mind more than with, like, spoken language, but also it sure sounded like English. So those people look like they were made out of kelp, which is definitely weird.
Primitive bowls and plates.
Again, quite judgmental. Let me tell you something. If you gave me 24 hours to make a bowl, I couldn't do that. I don't think I could make one that looks that nice. Well, that is definitely a mechanism over there. But first, let's check out this. Really, we have nothing to say about the glowy purple spirals. Okay.
Some slaves die. Some slaves now water animal.
Water animal. Is that what I am now?
Well, at least some of the time.
The inhabitants of this village lived at different altitudes. Some even lived inside the water. They used this sort of dam to lower or raise the water level.
Huh. Well, is there an indication on this thing of why that didn't work? No, there is not. Because I'm assuming we wanna raise the water level, right? Yeah, there's absolutely no difference between these two things other than the water level. And I mean, my assumption would be that it's related to these little posts. Especially since they seem to have reset their positions now. Or at least that one has. You know what, hold on. We're just gonna depress this one and then go back and hit that button, because I want to see what happens. Unfortunately, it's not clear to me, and it probably won't be perfectly clear after this either. Whether the reset was caused by me hitting this button, or, you know, it could be time. Unfortunately, didn't really... Yeah. It grabs the camera and turns it, so... Okay, so that one, they went down... They did something. And yep, that did cause that to reset. So they went down further that time, right? I'm pretty sure. I guess I'm gonna just leave that as it is for the moment, and we'll be right back. So, man, what was up with that water gate? Did I do what I was supposed to do with the water gate, or are we maybe gonna go back there? Because it sure doesn't feel like I solved whatever the puzzle was there, but we are definitely moving on from it quite a ways now. Okay, there is a third one. So, they probably don't all correspond to different water heights, right? Because these two are on the same level. That's the same elevation.
It's quite disturbing to see someone's hand paintings from thousands of years ago. I feel connected to them somehow.
Well, I mean, it certainly makes sense that I feel connected to these ones.
Fire rock falls from the sky, awakens God, black blood.
Is that black blood the same thing as the black ooze?
That, like, multiple voice whisper echo thing is such a weirdly common distortion effect in video games for how like specific it is, right?
What is the meaning of all this? God's blood, transformation, eternal life. I feel like I'm going through what was written in that inscription.
Okay, so there's a fourth one of these. So maybe we just have to find the right set of them. So there are different... It's not an elevation thing necessarily, but there are sort of different islands. Like there's two different islands of stuff down on that level where we saw the first two, right? So maybe that's what it is. It's like there's one post per island. No, but this one is on the same little... It's in the same little grouping as that one, too. So we have the houses also grouped by handprint, right? Here we have the white scratch marks. There we have the white hands. Over here we got the purple swirlies. It's like a very primitive team setup for Legends of the Hidden Temple. This is before Olmec got involved. And he wanted them all changed to animals because it's easier for the kids to understand. You know, it all became about marketing. It really lost its soul. And now who's judgmental? Now I'm the one calling things primitive. Okay, well... So there are little white markings along the side of this. That was true about the other ones as well, but I wonder if it's the same number? So there were 4 little white slashes across that. Because those could be depth indicators, right? This one's also got 4, never mind. Alright, so it could be that I want to raise the water level so that I can get into the water more easily, but probably it is the case that she'll only go into the water if, like, by becoming the fish person, right? Like, probably we need a refishify gate. Okay. That helps. That's useful information. So maybe what I'm actually trying to do is lower the water one level so that I can walk over to that gate. And that's how we get in the water. So... that's interesting. Is it the same sequence printed around both of them? Just at different heights? It looks like it maybe is. Right, because we can see its white hands at the bottom.
There are some hand marks made with pigments. I wonder if they mean something. I bet
So maybe...
just in case.
Excuse me. Maybe this is an order that they have to be pressed in? Interesting that it won't let me take note of the purple one. Do I have to take note? Yeah, I have to take note of this purple one. That purple one is off limits, obviously. Okay, well. So I'm gonna guess we gotta press them in top to bottom order, and then press the big thing, and that's how we drop the water. Actually, could we see... I don't have any kind of zoom or anything, right? I don't have binoculars. Because that could be a re-fishify gate, but it also could be a de-fishify gate. Like, I don't know if I want to raise the water level and then find another gate somewhere else to come out of this one, or whether I want to drop the water level so I can get over there. It seems like there's a lot of water down there. This is probably a drop thing. Yeah, we'll try the order from top to bottom, and we'll see what that does. I'm trying to remember, what was the one symbol that we had pressed down when they lowered more than they had the first time? It was just this one over here, which was just the white hands, which is in fact the lowest symbol. Yeah, so that... It went down one because we got one right, and then didn't go down a second time because... Yeah, okay. I think that definitely reinforces what we're figuring here. So next is yellow. Next is yellow. Yellow is up there. It is, however, entirely possible that I have this backwards. Oh, I guess I am... As things stand now, I am doing it bottom to top when I think I want to do it top to bottom. Well... But when you press the button, the pillars go downward, so they're going to encounter the white hands first. Yeah, let's just finish up the process like this and see what happens. Unfortunately, this is going to involve a lot of running back and forth. I will say, like, it's an interesting choice for them to take it to such a menacing place and then to back off to the degree that they have. I don't know that I've ever seen a game with this sort of subject matter do that. It's usually the creepiness of it just sort of like dials up steadily over time, right? As it has become clearer that this is probably where we are from, at least in an ancestral sense, things have really gotten a lot more chill. This is very unusual pacing. It's... scratches, then swirls. Okay. That's very convenient, because that's the order we're going to pass them in on our way over to the thing. That was a weird... Did something strange happen there? The noise just, it ended kind of weirdly. Okay, I sure hope that this is right, if only so that I don't have to run all the way around here again. It's a lot of running. So wait, was there an actual pillar in this area, or is that thing the button in this area? Because now I'm realizing I don't think I saw a pillar over here. Hopefully it's just that thing, because if it's not, if I'm missing a pillar, Again, we're gonna have to do a lot of running again. And frankly, I'm tired. Okay, we're good. So maybe this isn't going to turn out to be about changing the water level at all. Yeah, man, on the subject of me being tired, I gotta tell you, I'm trying to take a little better care of myself because I'm old at this point, and I have not done an exercise in 2 decades or so. So I'm just like, I'm starting to work out. It's not a New Year's resolution thing. The timing is sort of coincidental. But I'm just trying to take better care of myself. And when you eat terribly and don't exercise at all and spend almost every day sitting down, it turns out even a very small, gentle exercise really kicks the holy hell out of you. I feel like garbage right now.
This civilization used these devices to raise and lower the water level. It's impressive.
Okay, presumably that one over there raises it again. And we'll get over there by doing some fish nonsense. So again, we have like these rings that are producing current. And is it going to be the same deal here, where if I just like force myself through, it's like a little speed gate? Hold on now, what is this? Huh, okay. Also, I mean, it's worth noting, there's an awful lot of space down here. By the way, in case you're wondering, I am, in fact, holding down the swim faster button. This is as fast as she goes. So this one has been graffitoed as well.
Different types of creatures of the same species lived here, but they weren't free.
Something about the design of this one really puts me in sort of a Lemmings frame of mind. Right, it kind of looks like a Lemmings level. These ones down here are the... Like, this guy's a blocker, obviously. Those guys are set to dig. I mean, we have some swimming stuff going on, so clearly this is Lemmings 2. The Tribes. In my opinion, the superior Lemmings game, but I think a lot of people feel different. And every single one of them's wrong. That's conclusive. That is hard fact that you can bring with you into the rest of your life, because we all know there's a lot of questions about the Lemmings series of video games.
It's a beautiful place, but it has also seen a lot of suffering. All the island is that way. Beautiful but dangerous. The danger does not seem to affect me, though.
Except for the thing where I drowned in ooze, and also that time I fell and definitely broke my neck. So this is creepy.
They rebelled against their masters. The slaves seem to worship 2 gods.
And they're both real spooky looking. I guess that makes sense, Liz. I'm gonna be straight with you. If I had the powers of a god, were I in any sense omnipotent, I would make myself look real spooky. That is for sure. You can take that to the bank.
We, Father and Mother, pray to God. God punish not.
The sunken continent. Was that their punishment?
Okay, so there's no markings on these houses.
We know not now. We all water animal. We live forever.
So So these creatures are immortal?
Well, I mean, that is what they just said. It could be figurative, though, you know? Alright, there's another little house over here, and it's got one of those current rings in front of it. I suppose we could have used the swim fast, you know? Oh, this is not even a door. This is a wall. Okay, see, this one's actually repelling us. Out of curiosity, what happens if I enter it from the other side? Okay, yeah, it's just, it does the thing that you would expect it to do. Hopefully you all can forgive me for, for suspecting that that might not be the case, given, you know, everything about the island. So we have all of these rings here. They prevent you from entering from one side, and they push you through from the other side at almost exactly the normal swimming speed. And also, my Discord pings because no amount of muting Discord will cause it to stay muted for any period of time at all. I'm assuming this is some kind of weird Windows issue because Windows 10 is broken in so many ways. Alright, hopefully that won't happen again. Okay, so that one tries to push us over to this one. So I guess we probably want to reverse the current out of these and like get up a good head of steam and end up crashing through there and smashing through the door of that. Also, I'm gonna level with you. It is like 3 in the morning right now, because that's when I could find time to record this, and I'm more than a little curious who is repeatedly pinging me on Discord at 3 in the morning. What could possibly be happening there? What is this? I'm assuming I'm not going to be allowed to break the... Yeah. I'm allowed to break the surface, but I'm not allowed to go up there. I suppose in a lot of versions of this story, I'm basically the thing that would be the otherworldly encounter, right? So maybe that's where this sort of feeling of there not being a lot of tension comes from. It's that that element is here. It's just me. Alright, is this interactable? Is this a button? It is a button. Okay, so we're not gonna smash through it, but we're gonna find that it closes before I can get down there, maybe? Or maybe not. Okay, there it is. I was gonna say, is this really not a puzzle? Okay, so does each one of these posts have that device on it? Hard to tell. I suppose it would be on the other side of that one, since that's the direction the current's flowing. Okay, so... I'm definitely wondering if it is a bug that we were able to get through the other one, because we didn't actually figure out how this thing works, you know? So do I need to... No, I'm not allowed to interact with it while it is in the middle of having goop in it. Okay, I can do this though. Okay. Well, that seems straightforward enough, so we gotta swap this one too. Yeah, it must be the case that I was supposed to flip that other one, and I wasn't supposed to be able to just weasel through there, right? Oh, the timing, right? I had to... The other one goes first. And it turns out to actually be maybe a little tightly timed? Yeah. I got real lucky with that other one, getting it on the first try. Okay, so now we have a functional sequence, right? Everything's facing the right way? I appreciate that they put these little stone things on them so that you can tell from a distance which direction they're facing. That's very thoughtful. Alright, let's do this thing. I would absolutely have accepted just being hurled through that at an incredible speed, though. That would have been fine with me. Actually, hold on. Are we sure we're not missing anything over here? Pretty sure.
My illness has kept me from being happy. What I feel now is the complete opposite of being sick. I feel full of life and energy, even better than before my illness.
I think that thematically what's going on here is really interesting. Obviously, I don't want to comment too much on it before we see like how these elements actually wash out in the end of the story, but especially given, you know, what Lovecraft was using these sorts of themes of like monstrous humanoids to mean and stuff, the way this is engaging with them almost in the exact opposite way that he did is definitely really interesting. It is unfortunately the case there's just no way to make a thing that engages with Lovecraft without also having to engage with Lovecraft, you know? So that presumably would raise the water level again, right? Yeah, I mean, is that a thing I even want to do? I'm gonna look down here first, and maybe this is gonna end with me having to run all the way back here.
If I enter the water now, I'll be soaked. Being me, I mean... It's hard to explain this, even to myself.
That's her concern. My clothes will be damp. It will be most inconvenient. Okay, no, it's even further down. I mean, it does sort of raise a question of, like, are the rings transforming?
Really low, so I can access that tunnel.
Are the rings transforming me, or is that a separate body? And if so, how does, you know, where does my original body go? And I know it's magic, and like trying to make logical sense of what's happening is perhaps a foolish endeavor. But I can't help it.
These creatures lived like slaves, all their lives imprisoned and tortured in this place. Was it possible to live a decent life in here? If you've lived all your life in a prison, how would you know that you are a prisoner?
Yeah, you know, do the fish know they're swimming? So, okay, no, I am not allowed to interact with that while it is just laying there broken.
Now I can enter this tunnel.
Yes, thank you, Nora. Although, frankly, if the game's going to do that, it might be better for it to do it like 10 steps backward. You know, like before you have entered the tunnel. Because as it is right now, it's sort of more of a, now I can have entered this tunnel the way I already did. This one's real close to the surface. Also, am I different, or is it just the weird lighting down here? Okay, no, it's the same body. We have the same arms we had before. It's just different light. So there's a big kelp forest that could hide, I don't know, all kinds of anything, really. I wonder, why make me do more of these now? Like, in order to have gotten here, we must have mastered the system, right?
This current is quite strong. I wonder where it will take me.
I guess maybe they just don't want to use the speed path system without giving you, like, clear warning that that's what you're about to do. Ah! So I was actually just about to, going through that previous chamber with all the fish, I was just about to say, you know, it's remarkable how they managed to make it so that we're underwater, like, for long periods of time, sometimes deep underwater, and it's not scaring me anymore. And then that happened. And now I'm unsettled, and now I don't feel safe in the water. I mean, that looked like a pretty big squid to me, right?
That was quite a ride, but it's over now.
And there's no way to reverse the current on that, so hopefully we got all of the content that there was to get in there. Yeah, quite a large squid. Don't need to be afraid, as long as we're not in an area that is large enough for that squid to fit into.
Someone set up camp in here. Looks like a means of transportation to get to that sanctuary.
So there's like a big boat. They used to have a big old boat. Okay, and there's still a way to call it, it looks like. But obviously, we gotta take a look at this. And could this be... Could it be? Well, I'll tell you what, it's certainly not the fish people.
What is this? This... Oh my god. Did I almost forget about Harry?
It is okay. Listen, I'm going to tell you all this right now, and just carry this forward with you into your lives. If you suddenly turn into a fish person and have an insane underwater adventure, it is okay to forget about your husband for up to 2 days. Okay, I'm giving you permission, personally. So, I guess he must have found a way to scale down from outside to get here?
It is so beautiful.
I mean, it's alright. To be perfectly honest with you, weirdly enough, I kind of prefer the underwater areas. Definitely out of character for me. So the sun and I have an enmity that goes back a long, long way. It knows what it did.
Harry, that look on your face. You look deranged. They seem to loathe each other.
I can't stand your lunatic face. I can't stand the noise you make when you eat. I can't stand you. So it's just him and the woman now, right?
She doesn't seem to care much about Harry. And she doesn't seem to be thinking straight either.
Harry's mental decline is more evident each day. He rambles incoherently, talking about someplace to carry out some ritual. Is that true, or is it just another of his deranged thoughts? I have to get to the bottom of this. To keep doing what I've been doing up to now. To listen to what he has to say and go along with him. He and I are the only ones left. And the Black Ichor. Is that an unfinished sentence, or was she just adding that? Oh yeah, also the black ichor is here with us. We keep some in a pot. We've been taking it with us. We've been calling it Rex. Yeah, I guess it looks like a boat. Honestly, it looks more like a door that someone knocked down and put in the water.
So the guide left the expedition. That would explain the workshop on the white sand beach, where I arrived.
Monsieur Everhart and Madame Ward. We had plenty of death on this island. I helped you until I helped you until I could. His English is not awesome. Helped you as long as I could. Okay, well this makes more sense. But I won't be an accomplice to this ritual madness. We've seen a couple of places where the subtitles don't quite match the voice acting as well. I wonder why there are these differences. I'm returning to the white sand beach to build a raft and leave this maudite isle. I don't know what that... Is that an English word? I'll be there if you change your minds, but I won't wait too long. I'm just going to tab out. It's going to kill the sound for a second, but I'm not going to just not know what that word means. It kind of looks like it could be French, right? Yeah, but sure looks like it's not an English word. It is, however, the name of a brand of beer that apparently people like. So, we learned something. It seems the sanctuary...
Poor people. Is this why I'm changing too?
It seems that the sanctuary was where the final stage of the ritual took place. Which I guess, in some ways, suggests that maybe we should not go in there.
A sanctuary? Harry, was that where you went?
The masters brought their slaves to a sanctuary by boat in order to perform the final stage of the ritual. It is weird for her to go, a sanctuary, question mark, now, when we just read a thing that already was talking about a sanctuary. Like, clearly, these were not actually designed for you to be encountering them in any order. Should I pick things up from right to left, despite the fact that that's an unintuitive way to do it? Okay, so it's a map of the island. That's where the white sand beach is. There's a bunch of useless ruins all over the place. Where is the sanctuary? Well, this looks mighty important.
These symbols on the wall.
So is this a numerical system? Where it's like swirl equals 5 of these, and then this thing equals eyeball plus that, and swirl equals that plus eyeball. Or, I'm sorry, that plus the lightning bolt. So then, this is 4, this is 3? Maybe. Given the state we're supposed to be in, and, you know, the natural realities of physics, it would be a little ludo-narratively dissonant if I were allowed to just jump down that distance. But also, sure it would be nice if I could just jump down that distance and didn't have to do the climbing animation every time, right?
It seems to show 2 possible courses of action. One means transformation, and the other means death?
Or being forced to participate in a chorus line. A fate worse than death. So... okay, we get brought... The masters take us on the boat to the sanctuary, the big scary place, and there's much chaining, and then sometimes merman. I mean, I have to imagine I'm going to come out of this on the merman side, right? I'm already most of the way there. It is not clear to me what relation I have to the people who used to be slaves here. Like, did they go through the same process that I'm going through now? Because it seems like they were wholly human, wholly non-fish human, up until the moment of transformation in the sanctuary, maybe? So it might be the case that I'm going through a whole different thing.
This panel looks different from the others. It's much more elaborate.
And it's got those numbers on it. So... But it sure looks like it's just going to be a timing puzzle, like the last one, right? So, does it seem like this takes 5 times as long, maybe? Is that what I'm supposed to be getting out of this? Okay, I could maybe see that. So then this is just telling us, like, the order to press them in. It's like this, then that, then that. But, like, am I to use this? Like, this is a method of timing. So press this, then press that, and when that thing ends, it's time to press this one? That looks like it could be right based on the distances. I definitely did that last one too early. Oh, maybe not. Oh, close, close. The song they make is kind of pretty, though. I think I did a worse job. I definitely did a worse job. So I can't wait for this thing to end and reset and then repress it again for the timing space between these two, even though it indicates that that's how you would space them. Because it just takes too long for this thing to reset. But this part seems to pretty much work. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to right-click. Oh god, let me get back in. Ah. Yeah, it's having to freehand this one is the tricky part. Okay, so right there I pressed it right after it hit. Okay, so it looks like right after this thing is about, right when this thing's about here, like right after it hits that corner, is a good time to hit this so they match up. And I just need to do a better job with this part.
This must be my transportation to the sanctuary.
That was a little messy. That could have been better. It's pretty, though. How do I... Oh, never mind. It has engaged. So I can't walk around in the boat at all, but I am allowed to look around. There's a lot of weird red up there. As we all know, the most menacing color. So are we moving to the next chapter, maybe? The chapters definitely seem broken up more according to the movement of the narrative than the movement of the mechanics. Some of these chapters have been pretty light on actual gameplay. Oh, hey. That's not a great chapter name as far as my level of comfort goes.
Nothing bad is going to happen to me here, as menacing as this place might look. The island, the ooze, those sea creatures. They're just defending themselves, like a wild animal against an unknown threat. That's how they perceived the expedition, like a threat. But I, on the other hand, I wasn't a threat. And I definitely wasn't unknown, was I?
Okay, we're all just good friends here.
Recognize me, as if I was one of their own.
Yeah, we've crossed my comfort threshold, as I was saying.
Things seem so distant now. As if I first stepped on that white beach thousands of years ago. A full moon? It can't be. Yesterday was a new moon. Did I lose track of time, or... Maybe this place isn't subject to the laws of physics. That's the only explanation I can find for this surreal night. It's hard to believe everything is real. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'll open my eyes sometime and I'll be back in our home in Inglewood and everything will be as before. My perfectly ordinary life with Harry. My daily routines. My illness. That will be as before too. And then I'll need to shake off this strange feeling that I have now. Feeling that I don't really belong there anymore. And with there, I don't mean Englewood, or Boston, or Newburyport. I mean... How is it possible that the strange events of only 2 days on this island makes more sense to me than the life that I've been living for years? There it is. The sanctuary.
I tried to just walk over and jump off the front of the boat like that's a thing that's going to happen, despite the fact that we've never been able to jump at any point in this game. Because it turns out, I've got a lot of years of programming. You walk to the front of the boat.
Was this your last stop?
You walk to the front of the boat and you hit space. That's how things work, right? Alright. Well, it feels like this is maybe a pretty good place to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I gotta be honest with you. She seems real cool with all of the all of the sea creatures and the things that are happening. I am somewhat less cool, but I'm gonna try to follow in her footsteps here. Even though every single one of these plants, I am desperately filled with an urge to stay away from them. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I have no idea how much more of this thing there's going to be. We're about at the point where I thought we'd be done, so we might be close to the end, or it may be the case that I just have bad information. It certainly feels like we're building to a climax, though. So come back next time for that, and maybe we'll turn into some kind of permanent fish person, and we'll see you then.